Hello guys, welcome to Funch. I'm excited to present to you our latest design tutorial on NFT mobile app. It offers a seamless and user-intuitive design, taking simplicity in mind. Today I'll be taking you on this tutorial where we will design 3 of the app's key design screens. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with this tutorial. First, what you want to do is you want to copy the resources that we have provided in the description. So make sure to copy all the essential files, all the starter files. So I'm just going to paste them into the design here. There we go. So what we want to do now is we want iPhone frame. We're going to be working with the iPhone 13 Pro Max frame. So make sure to select it. It's in your frames tab. You just need to click F and the frame tab will appear. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be designing is the splash screen. So let's copy this 2 more times. So we have 3 screens for the 3 of the designs that we're going to be designing. And there we go. This is the splash screen. We're just gonna name it. Okay, now we can give it a fill of the background color. You want to select this background color here. Just copy the hex code and you want to paste it into the fill. There we go, pretty easy. Now what you want to do is you want to select this logo right here and NF up and just paste it and center it vertically and horizontally. Okay, this is the splash screen, so we should name this the splash screen. There we go. Let's move this on the left and move this on the right. There we go. Okay, so the second screen that we're going to be designing is the onboarding screen. So let's give this a title, onboarding screen. There we go, excellent. Okay, you can select your onboarding screen. Go to the fill, select the color picker and select the same color from the splash screen. We're going to be using the same color here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to create sort of a top navigation and we want it to be 80 pixels. There we go. You want to spread it all the way to the other end, and let's give it a fill for the moment. Here we're going to have the logo and we're going to be having a button, so just paste it right here. There we go. Select your navigation frame and give it the same color for your background. Good. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to give this a grid so we can position all our components equally on each side. So give it a count of 3. You want to give it a margin of 24 and a gutter of 16. There we go. Let's give this layout grid a different color, maybe a white one. Yeah, that should work fine. You want to position your logo right in the grid and you want to position it vertically in the center, 24, 24 from all sides. Perfect. Okay. Now you want to create a line, so click L and select the lowest pixel in the frame and just spread your line all the way through. You can hold shift while doing this so the line doesn't move. Now hold control, select your line and let's give it a color from this background. You can disable the grid for the moment and you can select your line here. And we can give it a slightly different shade, just slightly lighter than the background. This should work. There we go. Okay, now we're missing the button here, so we're going to be using Seago UI as our primary font. So let's right here connect wallet. I want to go Seago UI. Wait, am I writing it wrong? Seago UI. There we go. Let's get 14 pixels right here. Good. Make sure that line height is an auto. So what you want to do now is just give it auto layout. You can click Shift A that will give the button auto layout. You want to give it 12 pixels from the top and bottom, and you want to give it 16 pixels from the left and right. It's good, and let's give it a fill. So we want to give it this primary color fill. Just copy the hex code and just paste it. Give it a fill and paste. There we go. Now you want to hold Control, select your text, select your color picker, and give it this background color. Great. Let's give it 4 pixels. Corner radius, and we want to position it vertically in the center, and you can activate your grid right now. So let's activate our grid, and we want to position this button right in the right side of the grid. Perfect. Let's center these as well. We can add 24 24 for the logo. It's fine from all sides. Okay, now we need a title, so click T for text and just write welcome to NF Up. We want to give this 40 pixels size, and auto line height, it should be auto by default. Center it. Good. Okay, so now we're going to be designing the 3 elements with text here. So for that we need our illustrations right here. So just select them from the illustrations frame and just paste them into your design. There we go. Okay, great. So what we want to do now is we want to create a smaller title right here, a smaller heading. So click T and just write discover rare NFTs. I want to give this font size of 20 pixels. There we go. And we want to give it some text below it. So let's write up discover unique and rare NFTs and begin building your collection today. Dot. There we go. Let's give it a 16 pixels of font size, and for this description paragraph we're going to be using DM Sans for the paragraphs or the longer descriptions that we're going to be writing. So DM Sans. There we go. That looks well. Let's give this a semi-bold font weight, and we want to give this paragraph a different text style. So let's try this one that we provided. You can disable the grid for the moment. Okay, maybe we can use the other color. Just copy it. Okay, we can revert the changes. Control Z to revert. I think this can do well as well. Let's give it 4 pixels spacing. Make sure the text is aligned to the right. You can group this up. Now let's give it a proper icon right here. Select both and just center them vertically. And let's give them a spacing of 12 pixels. Maybe 16. Yeah, let's go with 16. So let's group this and center them. Okay, that looks good. Now what you want to do, you can just copy this and you can edit the heading again. Start selling your art. You can write here, turn your art into profit and receive crypto as a form of payment. There we go. Let's copy it one more time and let's give it the proper icon here. So you can just select this icon, copy it, and select this illustration, the illustration, and just paste to replace. There we go, that easy. And let's finish the third one. Discover the NFT space. Let's add the description here. Step into the world of NFTs and the possibilities of the digital ownership. There we go. Let's copy this and paste it to the illustration. Perfect. Let's select 3 of these, center them. I think we can, okay, select 3 of them, align them to the left, and now what you can do, let's give them a proper spacing here, so you can select 3 of them and just distribute horizontal spacing right here. Let's try 48 pixels. Yeah, that should work well. Now you can select all of them, group them, and you can center them. Great. This heading should be aligned center as well. And let's give it a spacing from the heading of 48 pixels. Maybe 64. Let's try 64. Yeah, that should work. Let's group this all up. And let's give it a spacing of 64 pixels from the top. Great. Okay, now let's design the buttons. So we can right here continue. This should be 16 pixels. Let's give it a auto layout by holding Shift A. Let's give it 16 pixels top and bottom, and let's center it here, align center, and the auto layout. Let's spread it. We can activate our grid by holding Control Shift 4. Oh, it's actually disabled in the frame. There we go. And we can spread all the way to the end of the columns. Perfect. Okay, that looks good. So what we're gonna do now is just give it a color. So you can just give it a fill. Select your color picker and select this color right here from the button. Nice. Now we can give it a semi-bold font weight, select the fill of the text and just give it the background color. Great, that looks nice. Let's give it a corner radius of 4 pixels. You can disable the grid now, Control Shift 4. Let's copy this below it one more time. Right here, learn more. Let's give this a white text color. Select your button and just click on the eye here, so the background color is transparent. Let's give it a spacing of 8 pixels from the continue button. Should be 24 pixels from the sides. Great. So group them and give them a spacing of 24 from the bottom. Great. So there we go. We have our onboarding screen ready. Okay. Now we're going to be designing our main menu screen. So let's main screen here. There we go. We're going to be needing this again, so just paste it here. You can just copy it and just hold your frame and paste it. Now select your frame and give it a fill of the same background color. There we go. We want to delete this button here, and we're going to be grabbing some icons right here. So we want this search icon and this menu icon. Select them both, copy them, Control C, and just paste them into this top navigation here. Let's give them a white color. Go to your selection colors and just add white to them. Center them, should be centered vertically. And now we want to give them a spacing of 40 pixels maybe. Yeah, okay, now select both, group them, and now you can activate your grid on this screen. Oh, actually didn't copy the grid, so let's just give it another one. Columns 3, 24 margin, and got our 16 pixels. There we go. Let's just set them just right on the grid. There we go. That looks good. Let's disable the grid. Okay, now we're going to be designing the rest of the elements down. So we're going to be needing 2 more icons right here. We're going to be needing this back button and this share. So just copy them, select your frame, paste them, give them a white color. Now you can activate your grid. You want to place this on the beginning. This should be on the beginning column, and this should be on the end column. Align them and just group them up. Give them a spacing of 40 pixels from the top. Excellent. Now click F. You want to create a frame on this column grid. This should be 160 pixels of size. Let's give it a fill for the moment. And we should add this image that we have here. Okay, it should be 164. So let's give it 4 more pixels. Actually, we can delete this. You can just paste this. This is already in the frame, so that's okay. Let's give it a spacing of 16 pixels from the arrows, maybe 12. Yeah, 16 should work better. Okay, you can disable the grid for now. Control-Shift-4. Once we add the avatar here, so we have created this avatar, you can just copy it and just paste it into the frame. There we go. Want to position it to the center, align it, and we want to position this. Let's see what's happening here. So let's give this. This should be something like this. Yeah, okay. So half of its size should be inside the illustration on the back. Let's give it a title name here. So this guy is called One Alien. Let's give it a 20 pixels font size. Align it to the center. Make sure that text is centered as well. Let's give it a 8 pixel spacing. Let's copy this down one more time. Now add 14 pixels and other right here. Let's give it its tag. So 1 alien 77. Let's give it a proper color here. We should be using this color, I believe. So copy, just paste it. Perfect. Yeah, that works excellent. Let's give it a spacing of 4 pixels. Select both of them and just group them. Great. So now we're going to be designing the statistics here for this user. So let's select the frame. We're going to be needing a new grid here. So go columns and add 4 columns with 24 margin and 16 pixels. Let's give this a white color here. Let's hide this other grid. Perfect. So now we want to do this. We want to create this frame around the columns. We want to add some text right here. So 14.5 EAT. That should be the text at 16 pixels. It should be semi-bold. Center it in your frame and copy it down one more time. And this should be 12 pixels. And this should be total value. Okay, let's give it regular here. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we should add a bigger. Let's try 10 pixels here. Yeah, let's go with 10 pixels. 2 pixel spacing. And you can select your frame now. Actually, you can group this first before doing this. So group these two. Select your frame. Click Shift A to add all layout and just decrease the top and bottom spacing to 0. There we go. You can now remove the auto layout, and now you have the perfect frame. Let's add this pixel here and just copy it to your next column. Select your text and add 425, and this should be total NFTs. Copy it one more time here. 14.5k followers. Copy it again. 4.75 rating. Okay, so we can copy this color here from this tag, select the text below the titles and just add this color. Okay, so this has a height of 36 pixels here, so we need some lines in between here, so let's create lines of 36 pixels. There we go. Let's give this line a white color for the moment. Copy it 2 more times. There we go. All of these should be aligned. Great. And select your lines and just add a 0.5 width. And let's disable the grid for the moment, and let's select the lines and select the stroke color and give it this background color. Now we can experiment a little bit, just find what works best for us. Make sure to experiment on your own. And I think this should do the trick right here. Yeah. Okay, let's give it like a slightly lighter. Okay, that works well. Select your lines one more time and just give them a rounded corners. And now just select all your elements here and just give it distribute horizontal spacing. Let's activate the grid. Let's see if the elements are still under grids. They are. Great. That's out of the way. Let's disable the grid. Select all of these and just group them. Perfect. Now let's give it a spacing of 24 pixels here. Nice. Okay, so we need a button here at the bottom, so let's click T and right here follow Seagull UI. This should be 20 pixels. Nah, let's go with 16. 20 is a little bit big. And we can add auto layout, Shift A. So auto layout is very useful when creating this kind of stuff. So let's give it a 12 pixels here, top and bottom. Let's align it to the center here. Let's activate the grid. Any grid should do the trick right now. Let's give it proper width. Okay, that looks good. Let's give it a fill and just select your blue color right here. So that's a little bit too bright, so that's why we provided another darker shade here. So select that one and just paste it right here. There we go. Select your button text to give it the same background color and let's make it semi-bold here. Nice, that looks pretty good already. Let's give it 16 pixels here. Let's try 20 maybe. Yeah, 20 works great. Okay, so now we need to design the title here. So let's write latest. Let's give it a aligned left here. Latest NFTs by 1 alien. This should be regular. Let's activate the grid. This should be maybe 32 pixels. 24 maybe. Yeah, 24. Let's select our 4-column grid here. So activate that one. What you want to do is create a frame on these 2 columns, and the frame should be 182 and 182 height, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Let's give it a fill for the moment, and you're going to see why. We have already provided elements here, so these are 174. Let's see how this is going to work out. Let's select our 4-column grid here, give it a gather of 24 pixels. Let's scale it down a little bit. Let's place our element right here, scale it up a little bit, copy it, select this element, paste to replace inside the other one, and just scale it up holding shift and dragging it to resize it. There we go. Perfect. Let's delete this one. And let's write here latest bid. This should be 14 pixels. Auto. Let's copy it holding Alt Shift and place it to the end of the frame here. So we're going to write here 4.45 ETH, and for this cause we need an Ethereum logo icon. So here we have one. It's really small, 16 pixels. So copy it, hold Control, select your frame and paste it. Here we go. Let's position it here. Should be aligned vertically. Let's give it 4 pixels distance here. Make sure your left text is aligned to the left and your right text is aligned to the right. Let's group these up and let's place them perfectly on the edges. Now select both your component items and just place them 4 pixels below the images. Let's copy this again. There we go. Let's write here 2.45 ETH. 2.45 ETH. There we go. Okay, so the only thing we're missing here is a mobile navigation bottom bar. So let's select this and just paste it into the main screen. Align it to the center and align it to the bottom. There we go. So if you're curious how you can design this, you can actually search up on Google iOS design system, and you should find a repository with Figma. Also write Figma in it. In your search option you should find this. Usually bottom bars should be 80 pixels to 84 in height, and how you can design like a perfect bottom navigation. So let's create one right now. I'm just going to show you this for the example. So this should be 80 pixels. What's the width? 428. Okay, so it's 428. Let's give it a fill. Let's give it this yellow here. So the way you can design the perfect mobile navigation, you can just actually create a frame inside it, and this frame should be the same width as the one that's in, and you can just go to the width and just subtract it by 3, and you can add the fill here, another fill color. You can copy this 2 more times. This is a blue one, let's say, and this can be like some greenish color. So when you have these frames right here, you can place your component menu items inside them. You can just center them, and you should add like 10 to 8 pixels spacing from the top, and it should look very good in your designs. So it's pretty easy to design this. Just you need to follow a few principles and it should look very good. Okay guys, there we go. We have designed all the 3 screens right here. And there we go. hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. I really tried to make this as best as I could, and if you want us to create more content like this, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and you can comment down in the comment section on what type of design tutorials you want us to do, and we'll make sure to cover your opinion in the future videos. Thank you guys.